I got stung right here. Now, ignore the dirt on the glass. We're going to fix that, but I've just noticed. Hang on, I have zoomed in super close. I've just literally walked downstairs. It's just me and Bjug, and I've noticed there's a cat asleep in the basket in the greenhouse. And I had the door propped open because there's nothing in it. The geraniums are out to get some rain and just to, air it out. And good job I did leave it open because there seems to be a cat sparked out in the bed. Now, if I open the door, they might wake up. But I don't know which cat this is. There's a lot of them in the neighbourhood. It's not the black one with the white paws. It's not Toffee. I don't know who this is. So I don't know whether to have a little look or just leave them in peace. Hugh, is this one of your boyfriends? Did you bring a boyfriend home last night and tell him he had to sleep in the shed? I know what you want. You want your breakfast. Okay. Yeah, I just opened the door and I've no clue who this cat is. I've never seen this one before. Oh man. So this little guy, his face, he's looking a bit dirty. I don't know I've never seen this one before. Now he is a good size, or she. So I do think someone owns her, but yeah, I'm gonna have to take a picture of her and stick it up somewhere because she's quite dirty. So I've just gave her little Sunday breakfast meal. All the creatures that come into your garden that you have like no clue about. Like if I was up 10 minutes later, I probably would have missed her. Anyway, that's good to know because the greenhouse door, if the poor cat was coming back and it was closed and they want to sleep in the bed. So yeah, there's been a cat homeless shelter in the greenhouse that I had no clue about. Poor cat. Hopefully she is just... Did you lose your home? See, she looks like she has a bit of a sore eye. Anyway, I need to go back in and feed my own their breakfast. Now, the first thing I need to do is I need to go and get some grass seed. Because if you saw the last video where there was a bit of damage just in the garden from the renovation work, I want to get some grass seed while it is still mild and the soil has a bit of warmth. So I went to the garden centre. I had a quick look at the bulbs, but I was very good. And my God, is there a million grass seeds. I honestly just went for the one that was the best value. I ended up getting a 2 for 20 offer, so I can patch up the patches in the front and in the back. And of course, you cannot go to the garden centre without going to the plant section. Now, I could have avoided the plant section, but it's instant serotonin, isn't it? Just seeing, I know this time of year there's not as much in flower in the garden centre, but it's still nice to just go around and have a little look and get that little serotonin hit. So with the grass seeds, I went for the boxes that had the most kilograms for the price. Because to be honest, there's a lot of the lawn seed and it was like, will germinate in 4 days. But most grass seed will germinate in around like 4 to 5 days. There is some other grasses that take up to 10 days to germinate. But I just went for the best value, so the most kilogram for the price. Now, I did have a look at the seed section because I did want to get a couple of packets of clover that I could mix into the grass seed because my grass has lots of daisies, clover, buttercup. It's not a golf course. It is not a golf course fancy grass. Just for the areas where I want to patch up, I was going to mix them in, but the seed section this time of year, there wasn't much in the seed section, so I'll have to maybe just mix some of that in next year. Also, I'm really bad this autumn when it comes to the spring bulbs. Usually I will have placed my order with Mr. Middleton and planned the spring garden, but I haven't even thought of it. Actually, today was the first day I went in and I saw the bulbs and I was like, oh yeah. I have purposely come in here with no basket, no trolley, because I knew I would see stuff, but I need to clean my garden before I even think of getting a chrysanthemum. I do want one though. Okay, it is time to quickly check on the bees because I need to see if they need some food. Now there has been a really good ivy flow, so I am gonna just check one of the hives. The swarm I caught last year that I put into the into a hive, they haven't had an amazing year, and I feel like they've kind of been struggling a bit. And 2 weeks ago when I was there, I heard piping, which is, when you hear piping, that's a virgin queen that's been born. So I think they have superseded, which is fine, but not this time of year. So it was probably about 3 weeks, the end of September, they decided to supersede their queen. Sometimes they'll do that going into winter. Also, I'm sorry if my camera is shaking. The engine is on because I want heat on my feet. So I'm going to just see if they need some syrup. I have been feeding them, but there's been a really good ivy flow. So I am going to get coffee, check on the bees before I start cleaning because they've been on my to-do list. So hopefully they have a new queen. The risk with that happening is she can't get mated. So if they decide to supersede in September, there's not a lot of drones in the hives, and her chances of getting mating are lower, and also getting mated with a quality like drones. And then there's the risk that they go into winter with no queen, which would mean they would essentially die off. So what you do there is you try to get them a new queen, which is very hard, but more than likely what I would have to do is combine them with the stronger hive. So I'm just hoping. The bees keep me on my toes. The bee drama. And I've been learning about bees at the minute in a study group. And the internal knowledge that bees have is insane. Like everything from pheromones, glands, like the diplomacy of hives and how they make decisions and where to have a swarm. I'm listening to a good book at the minute. I can't remember the name of the author, but I'll put it on screen if you're interested in the politics of bees, because my god, the politics of bees. they know how to run a hive, I tell you. But anyway, yes, let us go. Also, retail car parks on a Sunday morning are insane. So, a wise beekeeper told me you can tell a lot from a hive from the activity on the entrance, and there is a lot of foraging, but there's wasps. Now, this time of year, let me check the temperature. So I won't be doing a full check on this because of the temperature. Yeah, it's 12 degrees, which you wouldn't open a hive because they would lose their heat inside. And they're also prepping for winter, so they build a lot of propolis around things. So if I was to go in, pull the hive apart, do a big harsh hive check, it would like set them back on their winter prep. So all I'm doing with the white one is taking the roof off, and well, I'm going to check the weight, I'm going to heft it, and I'm going to top up their syrup. But I'm also going to quickly check for signs of a queen and then consult my other beekeepers. So what I'm going to do is I have a clear board on top so I can see where the main hive activity is, and I might even just quickly lift a frame to see if there's fresh eggs on that. So another thing this year, the wasps were a bit later. So usually kind of August into September, you get wasps robbing from hives. And if it's a weak hive, it can like completely clean it out. But I've noticed it was the end of September, the wasps were out. Not so much earlier, because I had reduced the hive entrances earlier. But yeah, I don't think it was, September time is when they kind of do it. So even if I'm only doing a small job, I'll still suit up. Like you see beekeepers on the internet and they beekeep with no suit on. No. I even just checked the strong hive further down. I'll show you them. And in this suit, I got stung right here. One of them got into the crease. And so I was like, no. And then every time I get stung, I think I'm dying. So You know what, I prefer my other bee suit, the white one, because I think the bees don't like the green of this suit. I don't know why. It's just a conspiracy theory I have. Because every time I wear this, well, not every time, but most of the time, they sting. And when I wear my white suit, they don't. I'm even double gloving today, look. Just in case. I take no chances with these girls. It can ruin your day when you get, not ruin your day, but these things, I don't think they're sore, it's the after effect. They're really itchy. Yeah, I can see some wasps lingering around the front. Also, there was a storm. Oh yeah, there's a strap. Okay, I'm gonna check the weight. Okay, so there is a bit of weight in it, but not amazing. Hi ladies. Oh my god, there is a beautiful smell coming from this because there's ivy honey. Now I'm just gonna wait a second. Okay, so I'm gonna top up the feeder. So the bees get a syrup in this, so there's a hole like this one here that they can come up, drink the syrup and not drown, and then go back down. I accidentally spilt a little bit there, but these ladies will come over. So you can see that I have a clear board so that you can look in, and I'm just checking their kind of temperament. There's one bee going around the mic, but yeah, I'm gonna have to, one of the days during the week is a bit warmer. It's due to be 17 degrees. So I'm gonna come down, because what happens is on days like today, especially when it's grey sky, like the bees will be grumpy. So I just wanted to, yeah, check on my food. So we've got, they seem to be down this side mostly, and there's not so much, they're not filling out down here. So the danger is if the hive is weak and they use all their energy to try and heat this hive up for winter, when I could, because there's up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it's probably only 7 frames. They could go back into a smaller hive, which is a nook, and then they're not spending as much energy heating up the hive. Anyway, I'm going to close this over just because they're not too spicy, but I just wanted to top up their feeder. But the smell is amazing, so they're definitely taking in ivy. So ivy is amazing this time of year for the bees. It's the last forage before winter, and yeah, I'm going to leave these ladies in peace, and I'll have to come down during the week to see, are we queen right? I mean, the good news is there's no piping, and generally piping is an unmated virgin queen. So I'm just observing them, and they're not too aggressive. But the only way to know is for me to check at a frame to see if there's eggs. Yeah, not too bad. Okay, I'm gonna close these girls up. Now these ladies, just look at the difference in the strength. So it is 12 degrees, the ivy is flowing, and there's loads of forager activity. And if I get close to the door, hang on, you can just see how busy they are, and they're coming in with pollen baskets. Like, look at the amount of foragers coming in on these compared to the other hive. So all I'm going to do is heft. Oh, this hive is heavy. Now, if I peep under the lid, all I did was peep under the lid last time, and they were spicy. Okay, we're not too bad here. I wish you could smell this. This smells amazing. So these girls have a super box, and they've 1, 2, hang on, I'll bring you over. They've like 4 frames extra. So they've got This is all ivy, so it's not amazing, but they are much stronger than the other ones. So they haven't filled out these frames here, but they do have some honey there for themselves. I won't be taking this. And then down here in the brood box, they have their stores as well. So these girls are busy bees. Now, before I start repairing this grass, I have a little bit of tidying up to do. Nothing too bad, but it is oddly satisfying. I did a video about 2 weeks ago where I was assessing the damage from the renovation work, and it wasn't too bad. Now, since I did that video, I did have a couple of days where there was builders here, there was a plasterer, so the grass got a little bit damaged, and then yeah, people coming and going and walking in the mud. Now, thankfully it has been dry enough. I know we did have Storm Amy as well, so there is some leaves and debris around. The windows are absolutely filthy after the storm as well. So I'm going to do a satisfying cleanup. Now, even though I am cutting the grass, I have increased the height on my lawnmower, and I think I have it on the mulch setting so that you'll see when I'm mowing the leaves, they actually turn to tiny pieces and then they go back into the soil. So it's kind of like a free way of conditioning the soil. So then them leaves will just break down. This is probably going to be the last, well, if you're a regular viewer of the channel, you know that I do love cutting the grass, but this is probably going to be the last grass cut, because once the clocks change, there's, less light and the growth rate will slow down. So I'm cutting the grass, and that's just so I can see the soil underneath, because I am going to lightly aerate it before I lay the new seed in the areas where I am going to lay some grass seed. Now, when it comes to grass seed, October is a good month. However, ideally the start of it, end of September. But the soil is lovely and warm from summer, and then you're kind of coming into that season where it's, rainy in Ireland anyway. Now, obviously, depending on the area where you are, if you are somewhere where you start to get frost in October, it will obviously not be good for laying grass. But in the Ireland, UK, and probably Netherlands, I reckon October is a good month for patching up the grass. Now, when it comes to leaf mold, so you'll see that after the storm, I have a lot of leaves. Now, usually when I collect leaf mold, I like to collect the leaves when they're soaking wet. So usually after the rain, and they're lovely and wet and soggy. But because these are really dry, it hasn't rained in a few days, so there is a bit of moisture in the soil, which is great for sowing the grass seed, but the leaves are really dry. So ideally, if you want to collect some leaves to make some leaf molds that you can use as a mulch, come out after a nice wet day and sweep up the leaves and put them in a bag with some holes in it. And then you just put it somewhere like dark. You can put it behind the shed and then leave it over winter, and it will do. I am not good when it comes to biology or science, but the magic will work, and then it will break down and turn into this lovely leaf mold. It will go moldy, and then in springtime you can use that as a mulch, and it will condition the soil. So I'm not making any of that today. I'm just going to have my lawnmower on the mulch setting and let it go back into the grass. But maybe next week, because who knows, there will be more leaves to fall. I find most of the bulk of leaves come after Halloween, so around about early November, and that's when I'll make a few bags of leaf mold. I think my builder needs to give me a job. They are due back. They were like, oh, we will be back to take off the surround off the steps. But I want to lay the grass seed because we have a lovely mild week ahead of us. Some of the days are like 15, 16. One of the days is 17, which is great germination. So I don't want them to come and stand on my grass seed. So that's how my brain works. So I quickly, well, I won't say quickly, it took me about 15 minutes because they had used a different type of screw to put into the ground. Anyway, I unscrewed all of the boarding and the surrounds, which were surprisingly heavy, and I put them into the laneway. So when they come, all they have to do is collect it. They don't have to, do whatever. So I removed it so I could clean up this area and then lay the grass seed. So I'm putting the grass seed down now because aside from the flooring, which they could cut the tiles in the laneway at the side and use the front, or I could put down a temporary piece of cardboard for them. I'm not due to have anybody anytime soon. Realistically, my flooring is not going to be down until November, so that gives the grass a good 3-4 weeks to germinate and settle, and then the next tradesperson to come is the flooring person, so I'll set them up a little area where they can cut tile that's just not walking on the grass that I'm repairing. So now is the perfect time for me to try and fix this while I have no tradies. I'm also moving over the IKEA canopy thingy, parasol garden umbrella, and someone left a really good suggestion in the comments section, which I forgot to do. But I think it's a good idea. They said to remove the fabric off of the parasol and store it over winter. And if you remember the garden cleaning videos from back in springtime, I did have some green algae on this. Now it's easy enough to remove and you can put it into the washing machine, which I think that's what I'm going to do. Wash it, dry it before winter and store it away, so that way I don't get the green algae on it. And also I don't get the slugs and snails because there was definitely some slugs and snails living under this over winter. And when I opened it up in springtime, there they were falling from the canopy when I opened it up. Yes, that sounds like something from a horror movie. Believe me, it was. So please hold me accountable and tell me in the next garden video to remove that parasol, clean it and store it over winter, and then I'll stick it back out in spring and I won't have to scrub it next spring. So future me will be happy. So Storm Amy paid a visit about 2 weeks ago and decided to put some cement on the windows. So there was a little bit of plaster in the garden when we had that storm, and it just kind of happened out of nowhere, or else I was not paying attention to the radio and the news. But there was a few bits in the garden that I didn't get a chance to put away before the storm came, and as a result, have ended up with filthy windows. Filthier than usual because I know your windows get absolutely wrecked whenever there is like high wind, heavy rain. But I needed to just give them a good clean because if you've seen the Thursday video, you will see that the inside is starting to take shape. There is some paint on the walls. It still looks a little bit like a building site, but not as, we have plaster, we have paint, no exposed bare bones of the house. Like it's starting to take shape. So now I can look out the windows and have them nice and clean because like that, I'm not due the plasterer or anything. So there will be no more paw prints on the windows unless they are from the cats. When it comes to laying grass seed, now I will admit, because I'm not afraid to admit it, I'm doing a cowboy job because it works in my grass. But some people, the correct way to do it, they will aerate the soil. Some people even have those fancy shoes with spikes on them. I'll just use my rake to aerate it out, which I rarely do. And then put down a layer of compost of a couple of centimeters and then sprinkle on your grass seed. So that is the professional, proper Monty Don way to patch up your grass. And I'm just going to shake it down. Now I am going to use the rake just because in some areas where the grass has had something laying on it for a while, which is how it's ended up damaged. So whether there's been a bin on it or one of the workmen's, pads on it, I'm going to just rake it to fluff up the top layer of the soil so that it's not impacted, and then I'm just gonna spray on my grass seed. And I actually did give this a little hose just because there's no rain forecast for the next 2 days. Now you will have the moisture in the soil and then like the morning dew because the nights are a bit cooler, but I did sprinkle this, so ideally keep the soil moist until you start to see decent germination. So don't let it dry out. But if it's Ireland in October, there'll be no fear of it drying out. But if we do have a particularly dry week, or if you're laying grass in summertime where it probably is going to be drier, you do have to water it and keep it moist like the good seedling that it is. But I've done this loads of times in my garden. I find grass is easy to grow, and yeah, I just sprinkle and go. But if you want to do a proper job, you can put down a bit of compost. You can take the extra steps. But I find the grass just takes. And also grass, I know a lot of people say, oh, why don't you extend your patio or pave it or put stone down? People are mad to get rid of grass. But grass is the most inexpensive thing you can have. So if it goes patchy, you can just put down some seed that you can get for 10, 15, 20 quid, depending on how much you need to buy. So I have no plans this year anyway for the garden. Maybe next year I might do something with extending it out slightly, but to be honest, I love the grass and I don't want to lose my garden and have this giant seating area when I only need a small area to sit down and enjoy, because I enjoy actually having a garden and plants. So I don't want to lose planting space just so I can have a huge entertaining space when I don't entertain as often as some others might. So yeah, grass is great. I don't know why people don't like it. Now, ignore the mess, but I just moved over the, what should we call this? The umbrella, because it was, I suppose it's still kind of in the way, but at least it's not blocking. I mean, this view is better. So when it was here, it was blocking the window, but you didn't notice it too much with the old window, but now the view is a bit better. I love the feeling of when it's, especially when it's autumnal. I don't know if it's like the slight drop in temperature, even though it has been mild this week, which is why I put the grass seed down, because the weather for the next week ahead, it's just before the clocks change, so I still have some brightness. And the soil temperature is quite good this time of year. And a couple of the days is 17 degrees. And I'm like, grass will germinate. Anyway, I'll show you next week or the week after if the grass takes. It should. October is still a good month for grass. But anyway, even if it took and then I left it for winter, and then we can cut it in spring and it'll be recovered. I love the grass. People are always mad for me to pave the garden, but then there would be no garden videos if I paved them. Grass you can repair for the price of a box of seed. Anyway, I love when you've been outside this time of year and you come home and it feels cozy. I don't know. It's like the air smells different this time of year, the autumnal air. Now, I actually went on a really cute date with my niece and nephew and the family, and we went to this Pumpkins After Dark, I think it was called. Now, I will be brutally honest, the tickets were expensive, and I don't know if all of these events are worth the money, in my opinion, in today's, obviously, inflation and everything. But anyway, I'm going to get into it and I'll show you. I got a bit of footage when I went around the little Pumpkin After Dark thing, because it did feel really cute. Kind of felt like a Hallmark movie. But yeah, I'm not sure if it was value for money, but let me know what you think. So this is Pumpkins After Dark, and it's held in Newbridge House and Farm. And I think this could be the first year that it was held. This is kind of like the light up shows that you see in the zoo, or they're popping up like more frequently. So it is a light up walk. So it's a 1 kilometer walk around the grounds of Newbridge House, and it's all done up with these like carved pumpkin installation. Now it says on their website that they have over 10,000 carved pumpkins, and you will see how stunning and intricate these designs are. Like, I will give them that. They look really good. Throughout the walk, there's lots of photo opportunities. So there is like amazing decorations. I was like, no, I would love to have these in my garden. There is lots of music. There's also a food area at the beginning, and also like at the end you do a loop and end up back in the one section. So it's a very Hallmark movie. No fake autumnal flowers here, but very autumnal, very Hallmark movie. Now my only pet peeve, and I have to be brutally honest, is I think the ticket price was a bit steep. Now I did actually have a look on the website at the pricing, and it was more expensive than I thought. So we got a family pass for 3 adults and 2 kids, and it worked out as €23.67 because it's $22.50 and then the booking fee. So it's $23.67 each, so times 5, and that didn't include the €5 parking, which I believe parking is usually free. So if you go to Newbridge House and Farm just to visit the farm or the cafe, the parking is free during the day. So I thought paid parking was a bit unnecessary, considering that there's loads of parking there, and it's not on like a public road, it's on like private grounds. But anyway, then there's also a maze at the end, and you can buy a ticket that includes the maze, and if you don't, which we didn't, it's €8 per head, so an extra €8 if you want to do this small maze at the end that's in the courtyard, and that's €8 each. So you can't ideally send the kids around by themselves, so the adults will have to also buy a ticket to bring them in. Now general admission is €27, so it's $25.75 plus the $126 booking fee. So if you're just buying a general ticket, it is $27, and a child age 4 to 17 is $22.38. Now there's also a VIP package, and what that means is you can just come at any time. So when you book on the website, you come and you pick a time slot, and you can buy a VIP package. That means you can come at any time in that evening, so if you're delayed, and that is €45, which it is €40, €40.65 it says on the website, and that's each. I honestly don't think you need the VIP package. Just come on the time that you're allocated. So yeah, let me know what you think. Do you think it is worth the price? I thought it was a little bit steep, if I'm being totally honest. Usually as a single person, I'm like, oh, that's okay, 20 odd euro. But then when you add it up and see it from a family point of view, and you're probably like families 3, 4, 5 years might be going, I think it all adds up into an expensive night out. Before you include the price of the sparkly light up things at a tenner a pop that the kiddies always want to have because everyone has one, and then your price of food, etc. So yeah, these evenings can quickly turn into an expensive night. So even though it did look very hallmarky and cute, I don't know if it was worth the price. Now I am a fan of the grounds, the cafe and the farm on a normal day, because I believe it's only about €10 to visit the farm, maybe 15 for an adult ticket, and I do think that is a good day out. So if you are coming to the farm during the day, now I do think the farm is closed while the Pumpkins After Dark show is on for the month of October, so I do think usually things are good value at Newbridge House and Farm. And obviously I don't know the pricing that goes into running a show like this. There's lots of lights, there was also lots of staff, so the costs could be big to running it. But I also went into the gift shop at the end, and the gift shop is adorable. Now I didn't buy anything because I'd already spent a fortune here but I think we can all agree the gift shop is cute, and it is a place to visit on a non-event day. So if you do come here to do a tour of the house, it is good value, and you can check that out on their website. So that was the pumpkin show. The carvings were amazing. The kids loved it. But I just feel like there's so much pressure on families to do cute Halloween or Christmas stuff. And there's all these like, there was none of this as a kid in my day. In my day, as a kid in the 90s, you got your plastic Halloween mask from the newsagents and a bin bag. That was it. You went to your cousins and you had fun for low budget. So yeah, I just feel like, I don't know if it's like the pressure of it is the pressure of social media, in my opinion, to like that was one of the selling points of the Pumpkins After Dark thing, was like lots of photo opportunities. And I'm like, sometimes I feel like we live in this dystopian thing. It's like we want to take pictures and have photo opportunities to show the world we're having fun on social media. I don't know. A family ticket was over €100 for 5 of us. So that was three adults and 2 kids. Over €100. I think it was maybe 105. There was a booking fee. Then you had to pay €5 for the car park, which that car park is free on a normal day. Like if you're just visiting Newbridge House and Farm, the car park is free. I've been there before and it's free. So to have to pay the fiver in the evening, because anybody going there has already bought a ticket for this event, I just thought that was a bit stingy. And then there was a maze at the end, and it was €8 each. Bearing in mind there was 5 of us. So this maze was in the courtyard and it wasn't included in the price. So another, like, the guts of €50 for the 5 of us to go around. And I was like, oh, we could just let the kids go in. And then I was like, you can't send 2 kids into a maze on their own. So then another adult would have to go in, and they were charged the €8. So I don't know. I feel like I'm coming into Christmas now. We went to Wonderlights last year, and I don't think that was as expensive, but it was still like an expensive evening out. And then there's the one that does be in the zoo, the lights. And like, it does be good, but I don't know about the price. But then again, I don't know, like it probably costs a lot of money to light up these things, and the staff and music and all of the organization and marketing. So I don't know, maybe I'm just being, yeah, I don't know. See, if I had kids, how are you supposed to afford to do all them things? And then like that, they go into school and their friend has done something. So I just think there's a lot of pressure on families financially already. And then these events, I don't think they're worth the money. I would have been happy paying maybe like, I feel like I'm in Four in a Bed now. Do you watch Four in a Bed? The B&B show. And they're like, put your money in the envelope to what you think this room is worth. I think maybe 15 a head would have been really good value. But I think it's 25 a ticket, like for adults. But then if you get a family pass, yeah, I don't know. If you are a family, I am just like, don't feel pressure to go to these things. Because I just don't know if they're worth the money. And I think they're preying on people. I think they're preying on the insecurity and the pressure to seem to be doing cool things on social media. And obviously, part of that is my job. But I try to just share home and garden stuff. I don't go to fun places often, but I try not to be like, oh, look how amazing my life is. Because I know the impact that can have. Like, I'm literally going to put on my sloppy pants, make tea, eat a packet of King Crisps and edit. Well, actually, I'm going to edit Thursday's video and then I'll edit this one. Nothing glamorous. No pumpkin patches. Actually, just before I go, there is pumpkins for free to see. Now, I haven't been there, but I know from the last 2 years they've been there. If you go to the walled garden in the Phoenix Park at Ashtown Gate or the Ashtown Visitor Centre, inside the walled garden, there is pumpkins that they grow. And I remember going there one year, just walking around with a coffee with my niece, and we got really cute little pictures. Now, you obviously can't walk into the little area where the pumpkins are, but the hedge is really low and Lily was tiny at the time, and we took cute pictures with the pumpkins. Because I know there's another pumpkin patch and like that, the tickets. I mean, good business with the pumpkin patches because, you know, I know the effort it takes to grow a pumpkin and stuff. But yeah, the pressure to do things. And coming into Christmas, it's going to be the same. Everybody going to these light shows and stuff. And I don't know what the prices will be like this year. They probably will have gone up. I don't know. Am I being like, am I, am I being grumpy? Are people like, I don't know. I just think cost of living, a lot of people are struggling. And then they want to charge you 100 quid for a family to go to a pumpkin patch. Oh, maybe I'm just a grump. I'll probably get lynched in the comment section. But that's my 2 cents. I'd love to know, is it as expensive overseas? So if you have something local, whether in the UK, if you have cute things in your area, what do you think? And actually, another thing while I think of it, maybe I need to do a series of free cute things to do that are free. That could be fun. That cute walled garden that I go to for 1 week, I think it could be 1 week in December. It could be the first week. Keep an eye on the council's website. But the Shackleton Garden has had a light up show for 1 week every evening, I think from like 6 to 8. Now it does be really busy because obviously it's for free, but that is like really good. You walk around the wall garden and they have all the lights. And I'm sure if you got there early, like, so I don't know. I think I need to look for free cute things to do. Like I really want to go to one of those scary things, you know, the for adults. And then I'm like, just walk in the woods in the dark. That's scary enough. Anyway, don't go walking in the woods in the dark. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I just feel like everything is so expensive. Like for a family, even on like a good income, 100 quid, that's a lot out of your weekly wage, probably. Like if you're getting like, I don't know, I think the average weekly wage in Ireland is like anywhere from 500 to 700 before tax. And I'm just thinking 100 quid is a massive, like that could be someone's food budget for the week. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there with my Halloween rant. But yeah, as you can see, it's still a little bit of a building site in here. So in Thursday's video, I will be finishing painting, putting up lights, doing all this. But today, I just needed a day to get control of the outside. And I've cleaned my windows from the storm. So yeah, I'll show you my view before I go. The mini lettuce, the autumn lettuce in this bed has been dug up by the cats. But the, whatchamacallit, what is this? The broccoli is okay. But the lettuce, the cats have, for some reason, have dug up, which is not like them. They obviously don't like lettuce. But yeah, this looks a bit more tidier. The dahlias are going to have to be cut back soon. To be honest, the dahlias have had a crap year. They didn't do great for me. So I'm going to cut back and mulch. Yeah, I'm going to cut back and mulch a lot of them. And spring bulbs. Yes, spring bulbs. I have not been on a spring bulb buzz because with all of this has been taking up a lot of mental space. And usually I get excited for spring bulbs. Haven't even done a Mr. Middleton order. I'm sure Mr. Middleton is like, where is she? She normally gets a box off me. I think I need to sit down and plan, because obviously those flower beds need to look good for spring because the view. So I think I need to replenish some tulips, and I need to get something that's a good gap filler for late April, early May. Now I could just plant some tulips later. I could plant some tulips first week of January and they will come up later. But I think I need a nice gap filler. I did make a note of like Aquilegia is a good one. I have a lot of self-seeded Aquilegia, but like I could do some Aquilegia in a bed. But then, yeah, I don't know. That's not a bulb now. That will be grown from seed. I don't know. I need to sit down and get some inspiration. But it's hard when I need to pick a flaw. So it's like, anyway, first world problems. I will see you in the next one. Cheeky thumbs up. If you want to see more garden videos, there's the Cottage Garden playlist. There is also a decluttering cleaning playlist if you want to watch them kind of videos. And then if you've missed any of the kind of DIY stuff, there's the DIY diary playlist. So I try to put things in categories. So if you like that particular style of video, there's more on the playlist. So yeah, thanks for sticking with me. Cheeky thumbs up. Give me some hype and I'll see you in the next one.